There's a battle raging inside you right now, a battle you may not even be aware of. Two forces within your own mind are locked in an endless struggle for control. On one side is your conscious mind, the voice of reason and willpower, the part that plans and decides. On the other side lies the subconscious mind, the silent, unseen powerhouse that controls your habits, emotions, and deepest beliefs. This war shapes every choice you make, every step you take, and ultimately, the life you live. Understanding this hidden conflict is the key to unlocking your true potential. Until you become aware of this secret war, you will remain caught in cycles of frustration, doubt, and inner resistance. But when you learn to master both sides, you become unstoppable. This is the battlefield where your greatest victories begin. There is a war inside you, not a war you can see, not one with explosions or noise or even warnings. It's silent, constant, hidden beneath your thoughts, beyond your words, behind every decision you make. It is the war between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And whether you realize it or not, this battle is shaping your destiny every single day. Most people live their entire lives unaware of this war. They feel resistance, fear, doubt, and confusion, but they don't understand where it comes from. They try to push forward with willpower, yet something invisible holds them back. They tell themselves they want to succeed, they want to change, they want to rise, but deep down something doesn't let them. That something isn't fate. It isn't bad luck, and it certainly isn't a lack of intelligence. It is the unseen struggle within their own mind. It is the friction between what they consciously desire and what they subconsciously believe. Your conscious mind is the voice you hear when you think. It analyzes. It plans. It speaks the words you use to navigate the world. But it is not the most powerful part of you. It's the tip of the iceberg, visible, sharp, but small. Beneath it lies a vast and endless world that controls far more than you think. That hidden force is your subconscious. It doesn't argue. It doesn't question. It simply accepts. It accepts what you tell it repeatedly. It accepts what you emotionally believe. And once it accepts, it programs your behavior, your reactions, your patterns, and even your perception of reality. This is where the war begins. You consciously say, I want to be rich. But if your subconscious believes you are unworthy of wealth, you will sabotage every opportunity that comes your way. You consciously say, I want to be confident, but if your subconscious has been conditioned by years of fear and shame, you will shrink in every room you enter. It's not that your goals are impossible. It's that your conscious desires are clashing with subconscious instructions. One side pushes forward while the other pulls back. You try to grow, but you're rooted in old mental soil. You try to run, but invisible chains grip your ankles. This internal war is the root of almost every external struggle. People chase success, but never feel satisfied. They chase love, but never feel worthy. They chase meaning, but always feel lost. Not because the answers don't exist, but because the war inside them is not yet won. They live in confusion, bouncing between moments of hope and waves of despair, unaware that their greatest enemy is not outside. It's the untrained, unchecked, and unaligned dialogue between their conscious and subconscious mind. And here's the truth. This war doesn't stop on its own. It doesn't end just because you wish it would. It ends only when you become aware of it. It ends when you stop living on autopilot and start taking control of the internal dialogue. It ends when you take full responsibility for your thoughts, your beliefs, your inner language, and your mental programming. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be conscious. Because once you become conscious of the war, you can begin to command it. This hidden battle is not your punishment. It's your training ground. It's the fire through which strength is forged. And if you are willing to step into that fire, if you are willing to face the illusions you've carried for years, if you are ready to reprogram the deepest parts of yourself, then the battle that once held you back will become the breakthrough that propels you forward. The war is real, but so is your power to win it. The conscious mind is the part of you that you recognize most easily. It is the thinking mind, the part that reasons, analyzes, judges, and decides. It is the voice that speaks in your head, the one that calculates your next move, weighs your options, and tries to make sense of the world. It is this part of your mind that tells you what you want, sets goals, and tries to plan your future. But for all its importance, it is limited. It sees only what is in front of it. It works with the information that is immediately available. It cannot see the full picture, and it doesn't control nearly as much of your life as you think. The conscious mind is often praised as the seat of logic and intelligence, and in many ways, it is. It gives you the ability to think through a problem, make deliberate choices, and observe your environment. But it has very little endurance. It tires quickly. It can only focus on one thing at a time. It forgets. It overthinks. It reacts to what is happening right now, but often fails to grasp the deeper forces that are influencing those events. You may decide consciously that you will wake up early, work hard, speak with confidence, or stay disciplined. But when the moment comes, something takes over, and it often doesn't go according to plan. This is why so many people feel frustration. They know what they should do. They can see the right path. They even decide to follow it. But when the time comes to act, the body doesn't move. The energy isn't there. The fear takes over. The old habit kicks in. It's not because the conscious mind is weak. It's because it's outmatched. It tries to command, but the orders don't stick. It tries to lead, but the army beneath it is marching to a different rhythm. Without alignment from within, even the best conscious plans fall apart. This leads many people into cycles of guilt and self-blame. They think, why can't I just do what I said I'd do? But the truth is, the conscious mind alone is not enough. It's a spark. It can ignite desire, but it cannot sustain change. It can point in the direction, but it cannot carry you there without help. That help must come from deeper within. The conscious mind may be the commander you see, but if it's not in harmony with the silent forces operating underneath, then its commands are just noise in the wind. True power begins when the conscious and subconscious minds speak the same language. Until then, you will always feel like you are at war with yourself. Beneath the surface of your awareness lies a silent force that governs your life more than anything else, your subconscious mind. You do not hear its voice, but it is speaking every second. You do not see its presence, but it is shaping every experience. Unlike the conscious mind, which is active during your waking hours and fades when you sleep, the subconscious never stops. It is always recording, always absorbing, always influencing. It stores every word you've ever believed, every emotion you've ever felt, every image you've seen, and every interpretation you've accepted as truth. It is your personal archive, your emotional blueprint, and your internal operating system. The subconscious mind does not argue with you. It does not question whether something is true or false. It simply takes in what you give it, especially what you give it repeatedly and emotionally, and it stores it as fact. If you repeatedly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, your subconscious doesn't ask why. It simply accepts the instruction and begins programming your behavior to match that belief. If you experience deep shame or failure and connect strong emotion to it, your subconscious stores that as a warning signal and builds internal defenses to prevent future risk, even if it means sabotaging your future growth. This is not punishment. It is protection. But that protection often turns into limitation. The power of the subconscious lies in its automation. It runs your habits, your reactions, your instincts, and even your self-image. You don't think about how to walk, how to breathe, how to drive, or how to speak in your native language. Your subconscious handles it all effortlessly. But it doesn't just automate physical actions. It automates emotional responses and belief patterns. If you've been programmed to fear failure, your subconscious will flood your body with hesitation every time opportunity arises. If you've been conditioned to believe success is dangerous or selfish, you'll unconsciously block it, even when you consciously desire it. You can plan all you want with the conscious mind, but it is your subconscious that ultimately decides what you follow through on, what you resist, and what you attract. This hidden general is immensely powerful, and the tragedy is that most people never learn to communicate with it. They try to change their lives with conscious willpower alone, not realizing that true change requires a shift in the subconscious script. You cannot outperform your self-image. You cannot override what you believe about yourself for long. Your subconscious will always pull you back to what it believes is safe, even if that safety is struggle, failure, or mediocrity. If you do not understand this force, it will quietly rule your life while you think you are in control. But once you do understand it, once you learn how to reprogram it, you no longer have to fight yourself. You begin to move with power, clarity, and alignment. The real battle begins the moment you stop ignoring the mind beneath your mind. Every single day you are programming your subconscious mind, whether you mean to or not. Every thought you repeat, every word you speak, every emotion you dwell on is a command sent straight to the deeper part of you. This programming doesn't require intention. It doesn't wait for permission. It happens silently, automatically, and relentlessly. And just like a computer, the subconscious mind runs on the code it receives. If you feed it weakness, it will generate fear. If you feed it confidence, it will create courage. The quality of your inner programming determines the quality of your outer life. Most people don't realize that the thoughts they casually entertain are shaping their reality. They complain without noticing that they are reinforcing a belief in lack. They joke about their flaws without understanding they're building a sense of identity around them. They constantly repeat stories of failure, betrayal, rejection, and then wonder why they continue to experience the same patterns. It's not the world that's against them. It's the programming that keeps repeating inside them. The subconscious mind takes repetition seriously. It doesn't ask whether something is empowering or destructive. It only asks, is this what you want me to believe? This is why self-talk is so powerful and so dangerous. The words you say to yourself are not just passing phrases. They are instructions. If you constantly say, I can't do this, you are commanding your subconscious to shut down your creativity and courage. If you say, I'm always unlucky, you are tuning your perception to ignore opportunities. If you declare, I never finish anything, you're wiring your brain to give up when it matters most. The subconscious mind listens, records, and obeys. You are either programming yourself to rise or to remain exactly where you are. The truth is, you can't avoid this process. You're always programming yourself, consciously or unconsciously. The only choice you have is whether you will take control of that process or continue to let fear, doubt, and negativity run the show. Once you become aware of your inner dialogue, you gain the power to direct it. You can start to feed your subconscious the language of power, of possibility, of purpose. You can tell it what you want it to believe, and over time, with repetition and emotion, it will begin to follow. This is not magic, it's mechanics, it's the science of inner transformation. Your subconscious is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally. Once you teach it who you truly are and what you're truly capable of, the programming is happening. The only question is, what are you choosing to install? When your conscious desires and your subconscious beliefs are not in alignment, you begin to experience a silent war inside your mind. On the surface, you may feel motivated, determined, even excited about the future. But underneath that motivation lies a subtle resistance, a pull in the opposite direction. You say you want to change, yet you keep returning to old habits. You say you want to move forward, but you find yourself stuck in place. This is not laziness. This is not weakness. This is the result of internal conflict, where the mind says one thing, but the programming says another. This inner conflict is the most exhausting battle a person can fight. It drains your energy. It clouds your thinking. It makes simple decisions feel overwhelming and forward progress feel impossible. You try to focus, but your emotions hijack you. You try to act, but something inside hesitates. You make plans with confidence, only to break them with guilt. And the worst part is, you don't even know why. You can't see the invisible forces pulling you in opposite directions. All you feel is the tension, the frustration of wanting something deeply while unconsciously believing you can't have it, or worse, that you don't deserve it. Misalignment creates self-sabotage. It makes you push away the very things you claim to desire. It's not because you don't want them. It's because your subconscious has been taught to fear what comes with them. Maybe you were taught that success brings loneliness. Maybe you believe that money makes people corrupt. Maybe you fear love because you associate it with pain. These associations live deep in the subconscious and quietly override your conscious goals. It's not enough to say, I want more. You must also believe, feel, and embody that truth on every level of your mind. The real tragedy is that most people never question their internal programming. They assume that if something feels hard or frightening, it must not be meant for them. But in reality, that discomfort is often just the echo of an outdated belief fighting for survival. Your subconscious is loyal to what it knows, even if what it knows is harmful. It will continue to operate on the beliefs it was fed years ago until you stop and deliberately change the script. And that change does not begin with effort. It begins with awareness. You must become the observer of your thoughts. You must identify the places where your conscious intentions and subconscious beliefs are clashing. Only then can you begin the process of inner alignment. When the conscious and subconscious mind move together, progress becomes effortless. But when they are at war, even your strongest willpower will feel like a broken compass. Every action you take, every reaction you have, and every decision you make is built on a foundation of beliefs, most of which you didn't choose. These beliefs are not always loud or visible. They're often hidden, buried beneath layers of experience and emotion, quietly shaping the way you think, act, and live. They don't just influence your behavior, they define your identity. And most of them were planted long before you even knew what belief meant. From the time you were a child, you were absorbing ideas from your surroundings about money, about love, about success, about your worth. And the more those ideas were repeated or tied to emotion, the more deeply they rooted themselves into your subconscious. You may believe you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy of good things. You may believe that happiness is temporary, that failure is your destiny, or that people like you never win. You might not say these things out loud, but if you look at your patterns, you'll find their fingerprints. They show up in your hesitation, in your avoidance, in your decisions to play small when opportunity calls. These beliefs are like invisible scripts running silently in the background, directing your life without your awareness. You think you're choosing freely, but your choices are often filtered through an unconscious lens of limitation. What makes these beliefs so powerful is that they operate like truth. Even if they are completely false, your subconscious will follow them as if they were laws written in stone. That's why it's not enough to simply set goals or think positive thoughts. If your core beliefs remain unchanged, your actions will always default back to what the subconscious has accepted as real. This is why someone can read every book, attend every seminar, and still stay stuck. Because the information may reach the conscious mind, but the subconscious mind is still running on an old program. The good news is that beliefs are not permanent. They were installed, and they can be rewritten. But first, they must be brought into the light. You must become radically honest with yourself about what you truly believe, not what you hope for, not what you say you want, but what you deeply, instinctively expect from life. That truth might be uncomfortable, but facing it is the beginning of power. You are not limited by what you were taught to believe. You are only limited if you allow those beliefs to go unchallenged. Once you uncover them, you can dismantle them. You can replace them. You can rebuild yourself on a new foundation, and when you do, the war inside begins to end, because the mind no longer has to fight against itself. The subconscious mind does not understand logic the way the conscious mind does. It doesn't respond to facts, statistics, or reasoned arguments. It responds to repetition. What you repeat over and over again becomes your reality, not because it's true, but because your mind accepts it as truth. This is how programming happens. This is how belief is built. The subconscious is shaped not by what you occasionally think, but by what you consistently say, feel, and focus on.
And this is where most people unknowingly trap themselves.
They repeat the same negative thoughts, the same stories of limitation, the same inner language of fear, and then they wonder why their life doesn't change. The human mind is impressionable, especially in moments of emotion. But even without strong feelings, simple repetition has power. If you keep telling yourself, I'm tired, I'm stuck, I can't change, eventually your mind accepts that script. It becomes your internal reality, and your actions fall in line. You don't look for solutions because your mind already believes there aren't any. You don't take chances because your programming tells you it's not worth it. This is not a conscious decision. It's a pattern playing out below the surface. Repetition is not just something you do. It is something that creates who you become. And this is where the secret to transformation begins. If you want to change your life, you must begin by changing what you repeat. The words you speak to yourself must be chosen with care. The thoughts you dwell on must be guarded like treasure. The phrases you allow into your daily inner dialogue must be rewritten with intention, because repetition works both ways. If you constantly repeat your limitations, you reinforce them. But if you begin to repeat your potential, you awaken it. The subconscious doesn't care whether your repeated thoughts are positive or negative. It simply obeys. So use this to your advantage. Use it to break free. This is not about lying to yourself. It's about choosing what to reinforce. It's about breaking the cycle of unconscious programming and deliberately installing a new narrative. It will feel strange at first. Your old beliefs will resist. Your current emotions may not match the new words you speak, but that is part of the process. Just like water wears down stone, repetition shapes the mind, slowly, steadily, powerfully. The change may not be instant, but it is inevitable if you stay consistent. The war between who you are and who you want to become begins with what you say repeatedly to yourself. That is where transformation takes root. That is where belief is born. Logic alone rarely moves the subconscious mind. It doesn't respond to facts or reason. It responds to feeling. Emotion is the language the subconscious understands deeply and immediately. When an experience carries strong emotion, fear, joy, pain, excitement, it imprints itself on the subconscious with extraordinary power. This is why trauma, both big and small, can shape the way you think and feel about yourself for years, even decades. The emotions attached to those moments become markers in your subconscious, guiding your future behavior without your conscious awareness. But it's not only pain and fear that create these lasting impressions. Positive emotions have just as much power, if not more, to reprogram your internal world. Feelings of hope, gratitude, love, and inspiration flood the subconscious with new signals, rewriting old patterns and opening doors to fresh possibilities. When you don't just think about change, but actually feel it in your heart and body, your subconscious receives the message loud and clear. It begins to rewrite its scripts, replacing limitation with possibility. This is why so many attempts at change fail. People try to convince their minds with logic alone, reading books, listening to advice, repeating mantras, but they fail to feel it deeply. Without emotional conviction, those messages don't reach the core. The subconscious remains unmoved, anchored to old beliefs and fears. Change requires more than thought. It requires emotional experience. It requires you to live the truth of your new story, even before it fully exists in the outer world. To truly reprogram your subconscious, you must engage your emotions fully. You must feel the excitement of your goals, the gratitude for your progress, the confidence of your worthiness. You must live inside that feeling so often that your subconscious begins to accept it as reality. This emotional investment is not just a step. It is the foundation of transformation. Without it, your conscious efforts are like trying to light a fire with wet wood. But when emotion fuels your thoughts, the fire ignites, and the subconscious begins to change from the inside out. This is the secret language of the mind, and mastering it turns the invisible war into a powerful alliance. Thoughts alone are seeds, but they need belief and emotion to grow into reality. This is where the power of autosuggestion comes in, the practice of intentionally planting ideas deep in your mind with feeling and repetition. Autosuggestion is not just wishful thinking. It is a deliberate process of communicating with your subconscious to overwrite old limiting programs and install new empowering beliefs. When you consistently feed your mind with specific, meaningful ideas, backed by strong emotion and repeated often, your subconscious can no longer resist. It begins to accept these ideas as truth and acts accordingly. This process works because the subconscious is designed to protect you by following what it perceives as established truths. If it hears one story long enough, especially with emotional force, it stops questioning and starts obeying. So autosuggestion is not about fabricating falsehoods, but about consciously choosing what you want your mind to believe. It is about focusing your energy and words on what serves your growth and well-being rather than what keeps you stuck. The more deliberate and consistent you are, the stronger the new message becomes. When done correctly, autosuggestion transforms internal conflict into internal harmony. The subconscious begins to align with the conscious mind's goals. Doubt gives way to faith. Fear turns into courage. Limitation becomes possibility. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience and persistence. You must plant the seeds of belief repeatedly, watering them with emotion until they take root. Even when old thoughts try to reassert themselves, your new program grows stronger. This is why many people fail to harness the power of their minds. They try once or twice, lose faith too quickly, or speak words they don't believe. The subconscious senses insincerity or hesitation and rejects the message. True autosuggestion demands not only repetition, but conviction. You must feel the truth of what you say, imagining it vividly and believing it deeply. When you combine clear intention, strong emotion, and steady repetition, you unlock a hidden command center within yourself. The secret war shifts in your favor, and your subconscious becomes your most powerful ally in achieving what once seemed impossible. Habits are the visible proof of what your subconscious has accepted as truth. They are the daily routines, the automatic actions, the default responses that arise without conscious thought. Every habit you have, good or bad, began as a thought repeated often enough to be accepted by your subconscious as normal. Habits are not formed overnight. They are the results of persistent programming deep within your mind. When your subconscious believes something to be true, it directs your body to act accordingly, saving energy and effort by operating on autopilot. If you want to change your life, you must change your habits. But trying to force yourself into new habits without addressing the subconscious beliefs behind them is like building a house on sand. The foundation isn't solid, so the house collapses. For example, you may try to exercise daily because your conscious mind knows it's good for you. Yet if your subconscious still holds the belief that you're too tired, not worthy of health, or destined to fail, you will struggle to maintain the habit. The subconscious will resist, pulling you back toward old patterns because it believes they keep you safe in some way. Real, lasting change comes when your subconscious agrees with your conscious goals. When your inner programming supports your new habits, your actions become effortless. You don't have to fight yourself every day because you are no longer divided inside. Your mind and body work as one. This is why some people can maintain discipline easily while others constantly struggle. It's not about willpower alone. It's about subconscious alignment. The habits you build reflect what you truly believe about yourself and your possibilities. To create lasting habits, you must focus on reprogramming your subconscious beliefs. This involves consistent repetition, emotional engagement, and conscious intention. You must feed your mind new ideas of who you are and what you deserve until those ideas replace the old scripts. Only then will your habits naturally follow the new path. Change the inside, and the outside changes automatically. Your habits become the living proof that the secret war inside you has shifted in your favor, transforming your life one action at a time. Fear is the silent saboteur in this secret war, often hidden so deep within your subconscious that you don't even recognize it. It disguises itself in excuses, distractions, and delays. It whispers that now is not the right time, that you're not ready, that you don't deserve success or happiness. Fear is the ghost that haunts your decisions, the invisible chain that keeps you anchored to safety, even when safety means stagnation. It is not just a feeling, it is a deeply programmed response designed to protect you from pain, rejection, or failure. Yet in trying to protect you, fear often becomes your greatest enemy. Because fear is so ingrained, it can feel overwhelming and unshakable. It creates paralysis, not because the threat is real, but because it has been rehearsed so many times in your mind that your body reacts as if it were true. This rehearsal happens through memories, experiences, and stories you tell yourself repeatedly. You might fear rejection because of past pain, or fear failure because you once fell short. These fears become automatic responses, firing off in your nervous system whenever you approach risk or change. The result is hesitation, self-doubt, and avoidance, behaviors that feel like choice but are actually conditioned responses. To conquer fear, you must bring it into the light of consciousness. You must face it directly, naming it and understanding its origin. Fear loses power when it is no longer hidden. Awareness strips it of its mystery and weakens its grip. But awareness alone is not enough. Because fear is embedded in the subconscious, it requires deliberate rewiring. You must challenge the beliefs that feed it and replace them with new, empowering truths. This takes time and patience. It takes courage to feel the fear without letting it control you. But every step you take toward your fear is a victory in the secret war inside you. When you begin to reprogram fear, you realize it is not your enemy but a signal. It shows you where growth is possible. It marks the edges of your comfort zone, the boundaries of your old programming. By moving through fear, you expand your mind's capacity to believe in new possibilities. The war inside shifts from battle to breakthrough. Fear transforms from a barrier into a doorway. The moment you stop running from it and start walking through it is the moment you reclaim your power and move closer to mastery over your mind and your life. True power emerges when the conscious and subconscious minds stop fighting and begin working together in harmony. This alignment is more than just peace. It is the merging of intention and belief, desire and identity, thought and feeling. When these two forces move as one, your inner world becomes a place of clarity, strength, and unstoppable momentum. You no longer feel torn or conflicted because your mind no longer sends mixed signals. Instead, your energy flows naturally toward your goals, and your actions follow effortlessly. This is the place where real transformation begins. Imagine the conscious mind as the captain of a ship and the subconscious as the crew steering the vessel. When the captain and crew disagree, the ship veers off course, wasting energy and time. But when they are aligned, every action propels the ship forward. The same principle applies within your mind. When your deepest beliefs support your conscious goals, your motivation strengthens. Doubt fades. Resistance dissolves. You begin to act with confidence because your subconscious is no longer working against you. It is working for you. This harmony creates a powerful force field that attracts opportunities and resources to you like a magnet. This alignment also brings a profound sense of inner peace. The war inside you ceases, and in its place arises a sense of self-trust and confidence that cannot be shaken. You know who you are. You know what you want. And most importantly, you know that you have the power to create it. This alignment helps you move beyond fear, hesitation, and confusion because your entire being is unified around your vision. There is no internal conflict to drain your energy or blur your focus. Instead, there is clarity, purpose, and unwavering commitment. Achieving this inner harmony requires intention and effort. It begins with awareness, recognizing the ways in which your conscious desires and subconscious beliefs are misaligned. Then it requires consistent reprogramming, feeding your mind new ideas, repeating empowering truths, and cultivating emotions that support your goals. This process takes patience and persistence, but the rewards are immense. When your conscious and subconscious minds move together, you become a force of nature, capable of overcoming obstacles, breaking patterns, and transforming your life from the inside out. The war ends, and victory becomes your new reality. You were never meant to live divided, caught in a battle between two parts of your mind. The greatest power you possess is the ability to become the master of your inner world, to unite your conscious intentions with your subconscious beliefs and create a single, unstoppable force. You are both the commander and the creator. This is your birthright. The moment you accept this truth, the secret war inside you comes to an end. You step into full ownership of your thoughts, your emotions, and your destiny. Mastering your mind means mastering your life. It means recognizing that the battles you face are not always external. Often the most difficult fight happens quietly within. But this battle is also your greatest opportunity, because when you learn to command your inner world, you unlock potential that no circumstance or obstacle can deny. You become immune to doubt, resilient against fear, and relentless in pursuit of your highest goals. Your mind becomes your greatest ally instead of your fiercest enemy. This mastery is not a destination but a continuous journey. Every day you have the choice to nurture the alliance between your conscious and subconscious minds. Every moment you can decide what thoughts to entertain, what beliefs to reinforce, and what emotions to embrace. The secret war ends the moment you stop surrendering your power to old patterns and begin consciously designing your mental landscape. You hold the pen that writes your story, and the battlefield that was once divided becomes the foundation of your greatest victories. So stand now with full awareness. Take command of your inner dialogue. Choose your thoughts with intention. Feed your subconscious with truths that empower rather than limit. Feel deeply the emotions of possibility and courage. This is your secret weapon. The war inside you is not a curse. It is a call to awaken. When you master this war, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, you master everything. The power to win has always been within you. Now it is time to claim it. The secret war between your conscious and subconscious mind is not a curse or a burden. It is an invitation, a call to awaken to the power you hold within. You have the ability to become the master of your own mind, to align your deepest beliefs with your highest intentions, and to create a life that reflects your true potential. The war ends the moment you decide to take responsibility for your inner dialogue, to rewrite the scripts that no longer serve you, and to feed your mind with thoughts and emotions that empower you. The power to win this war has always been inside you. Now is the time to claim it. Step into your full power, unite your mind, and watch as your life transforms beyond what you ever imagined possible.